Hi, this is Sherry from the blog OurLifeHomeschooling.com, where I share homeschooling encouragement for everyday moms. If you are new to my channel, let me introduce myself. My name is Sherry. I am married to my high school sweetheart, Nelson, for 22 years. We have 9 incredible kids, and I am a former public school teacher turned homeschool mom. I love sharing with other people the big change that homeschooling made in our family personally. And I like to encourage moms who are starting out or who are in the thick of it because I know how much encouragement really meant to me in my years of homeschooling. I'm going to be talking in this video about making a workable homeschool checklist. It's getting to be that time of year again, and for our family, we are starting school tomorrow. I did a whole post on a simple guide to planning a new homeschool year, and I think there's a tendency for moms to get a little overwhelmed when thinking about a new year and just feel like it's kind of hanging over your head. I know I can get that way. And I think after many years of doing this, I've just come to realize and accept that it shouldn't be that way. The reason that we homeschool is because we want to step out of the rat race, because we want to just learn alongside of our kids. So that very first day is not going to look a ton different from just our normal life. We are just opening our books again, picking up where we left off, and starting and making some more progress. If it's your very first year homeschooling, you're going to have to do a little bit more prep, planning what curriculum you're going to use, so there might be a little bit more involved. But you should not be stressing over starting a new year. Homeschooling is just simply learning alongside your child and making progress every day. So I am excited about starting tomorrow. Even some of my kids have said, we kind of miss it. We miss the routine. I think that's what they really miss the most, is just having that rhythm and that routine that we're so familiar with. Every family homeschools differently. And it looks different in different seasons. So when you have all little children, you're going to be doing a lot more of the work. And as your children get older and are more independent, you're going to be shifting the amount that you're doing and putting it onto them and helping them to become more independent. One thing that has worked very well for me and for our kids is to give them a daily checklist. And I'm going to share with you some suggestions on how to make a checklist that is workable, something that's functional and is going to work for you and for the kids. So let me share with you, first of all, some of the benefits of a checklist. First of all, it's a visual display. It's something for them to be able to see every day what they're going to be doing. And secondly, it really shifts the burden from the mom to the child. So they're able to see that they're supposed to be taking ownership of their work. This is their work. This is what they are learning. This is how they're growing. And it keeps the mom from constantly directing all day. Now, when kids are younger, they obviously need just a lot more direction. But as I said before, as they get older and grow, they are going to become more and more independent. And a checklist is a visual reminder for them that this work is their work. It is their responsibility. And it gives them something that they can take ownership of. It's also very motivating for them. When they see everything that they have to do, it can be something that just challenges them. Maybe they want to get up early and get it done. We offer just little treats when their checklists are done. It's just like a little chocolate that we keep in a jar. We have a big jar of chocolates. And when their checklists are done, they know that they can have that little treat. It's just something to look forward to. But seeing their work itself is motivation, because they know what they have to accomplish to get all of their subjects finished. Another benefit of having a checklist is it's something really nice to put in the kids' portfolios at the end of the year that gives a great snapshot of what they have done every day. One of the most important things is that your checklist should be workable. It should be functional. I think one of the important things is that it needs to be used every day. So if your child is not using their checklist regularly, maybe you need to ask, do they have a place to put it? Is there too much on their checklist? Are you checking their checklist? Why is it not being used every day? It should be something that is functional, that is working for them every day. They need to have a place to put it. We have work boxes. Each of our kids has 3 work boxes, and that would be a great place for them to put their checklist. Additionally, my husband has made this little wooden box that's on our piano, and we put all of our checklists in there, so it's just one spot for everybody's checklist, so that when I want to go look and check their work, I can always find all of them at the same time, and that works really well for us. So they need to have a place to put it. Their checklist should be checked daily. This helps to make it functional and workable. So when they are finished with their work, they should bring their checklist to you, and you should go through each of the subjects. I ask my kids to bring their work to me, so their math work, so I can go through and check it. Their writing work, whatever. It's different for every child, but I want to actually be able to see and look at what they've done and to talk with them. This is usually just a few minutes, at the end of their day. And but they know that I'm always checking it. And so they are responsible to someone. And so that's also motivation for them. One thing that I think can sometimes hold moms back is this feeling like the checklist needs to be a certain way. It needs to be beautiful, or it needs to have, maybe some moms just don't know what to put on it. Or just that feeling of, what should go on a checklist. And I think there's a tendency to just be uncertain of how it should be, or to feel like it's got to be something that's a work of art. And so that can kind of just make a mom just put it off and not want to do it. In the past, I have pretty much always done a very basic checklist, black and white. I do it on Word. It's nothing fancy. I'll try and put it up here. It's just something really simple that the kids can see. And at the bottom, I have notes for myself, but that can be I think that's more than what the kids need. But I've just done something very basic, and that has worked for me because I usually have 4 or 5. This year I have 7 kids in school. So I have 4 or 5 checklists to do. And to me, to do more than just get the checklist printed, to make it beautiful, or, to have special things on it, just has felt like too much. So for it to be workable for me, it had to be really simple. And this was functional for us. This is how I have done it for years. This year, for the very first time, I decided to experiment a little, because I've been doing this for so long and I feel like I need a little change. The kids need a little change. So I went onto Google Sheets and tried to make a pretty checklist, which I will also show you. I have this pretty checklist with colors, and I let the kids help me pick out the colors and just kind of decide in what order they're going to do things. And I found that for this year, this actually was very workable for me, and it motivated me. We've been doing the same thing for a long time, and this was just the extra motivation that I needed to get our checklist done. So what I would have to say about, should your checklist be pretty or should it be practical? It should be whatever works for you. This is not something I will necessarily do every year. Some years we just have a lot more going on, and to try to do something pretty like this would just overwhelm me, and it just wouldn't get done. So do what works for you. If it's going to really motivate you to get it done, to make it more technical and just make it something that the kids will love, then do that. But if that overwhelms you, it's okay to do something very simple. We have done a very simple practical checklist for years, and it's worked great. When you are doing a checklist for a very young child, I have found just a really great idea from Sarah Mackenzie's Read Aloud Revival site. She takes a simple spiral notebook and some colored pens, and she makes a new checklist for them every day. And it just simply has the date at the top, a checkbox, and maybe 4 or 5 things for that child to do. So this is for very young children, like kindergarten, first, maybe even second grade, kids that are just probably starting to learn to read. This is something that is just a nice way for you to write little notes to them, and something that is colorful, but also something very simple for them. I have used this for several of my young children when they were just starting school, and it really motivated them. It worked great. I found that over time, it was just too much for me to do every single day. And so I have switched to something different, but it's still a really great idea if it's something that you enjoy. So I have the links to that also in this post on the blog. The most workable checklist that I have found, and the checklist that I use consistently for older children, is just a simple printed checklist. And as I showed you before, I have this black and white checklist that I've used for years. I have a clipboard with a clear sheet. So this checklist will go in the clear sheet, and they will use this same checklist all year long. So I'm not printing a new checklist every day. So this checklist will go in the slipcover and will go on this clipboard, and they will use this all year long. This is something that I print one time, and it's something they use throughout the year. And they can use some dry erase markers to fill in the check boxes. Usually they do that at the beginning of the year, and then as the year goes on, they just use it to reference and to look at. Now, having said that we make one checklist for the year, I will also add that it's very important to be flexible. Expect that you're going to need to change your checklist. So yes, I do write one checklist for the whole year, but that checklist will probably need to be tweaked and reprinted at least 2 or 3, maybe even more times. Once you start doing school and the child starts going through all their things, you're going to find some things work, some things don't. Some things need to be switched around, or maybe your child has grown out of something and they want to do something differently. So be flexible. Your checklist, even if you do like I have done and print one for the whole year, you are still going to have to tweak it. You're going to have to reprint it. It's going to change once you actually start doing school every day. So what do you actually put on your checklist? The things that you want to go on your checklist are, first and foremost, their independent work. You want to have on there a list of between 6 to 8 things, depending on the child. Of course, if they're younger, it will be less, that they need to accomplish during the day. This should be work that they can do on their own. So we do morning time all together. That's the group work that we all do together in the morning. We do it after breakfast. Different families do it different times. We also do read aloud, where I will be reading to all of the kids. That usually happens after lunch. Those things can be on the checklist if it's a nice visual for them and for you. I've put them on my checklist in the past, but if you want to keep your checklist really simple, you should just have on there the independent work that they are doing, because that really is the purpose of the checklist, is for them to be able to look at it and see and go through everything they have to do, take that checklist to mom and have her look at it and make sure that it's all finished. Remember, less is more. It's so easy to fall into the trap of feeling like you need to put all these things on there. You want to have reading, writing, and math on there every day. Then the rest of your subjects, your content areas like history, science, health, geography, civics, all those other things, you can be looping on there as it fits your needs. I would also suggest that you put the most challenging subjects or the subjects that require the most focus first. So for our family and for our kids, that is math. Math always is at the top of our list. It's something that I want them to do when they're fresh and right when they get started. And so math has always been first. So look at your child. What is it that they struggle with and that they have, difficulty focusing on? Make that your very first subject and the first thing that they do. Also, I would encourage you to alternate their checklist between their reading work and their writing or any other hands-on work. So we'll start with math, for example, and then maybe their next assignment will be something that involves more reading. And because they have several readings throughout the day, their next one might be something that's on the computer. And then the next one might be another short reading assignment. So alternate the work that is reading work and written or hands-on work. If you have some questions or would like to see more examples of this, I did a full blog post, and you can head on over to the blog and get all those ideas and see more details about this topic. If you are new to my channel, I would encourage you to please like and subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks for listening in. Have a great first week of school.